Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how I do my full coverage flawless foundation routine. Also in this video I'm going to give you guys tips on how I make a matte foundation work with my dry skin. However, summer did just end, so in the summer I do get a little tiny bit oily, but honestly I appreciate all the oil I can get because in the winter time you guys will probably see my skin gets so dry that it will like flake around my eyes, under my eyes, and around my nose. I'm not sure if it's eczema. I think it is, but I do like to use CeraVe. This is a really big tub, and I want to say I got it like around February, and I'm literally like halfway done with it already. So good. So anyway, let's get started. So to prep my face, I always like to start off with some moisturizers. Like I said, I do like the CeraVe, but I do find that it is a little bit too heavy to wear under my makeup sometimes. So I usually only use this at night or during the day if I'm not going to wear any makeup. But one that I really love, and it's also really affordable, is the e.l.f. Prep and Hydrate Balm. Let me show you guys what it looks like. It looks like a little deodorant. And it smells so clean. It doesn't have a really harsh smell or anything, but it just smells really clean. And this, I think it's about $8. I actually bought this one at TJ Maxx for $4. So if you find it there, then you can buy it there. But if not, you can order it on e.l.f. or in the e.l.f. store. And it's just like a moisturizing stick. And I put it mostly around my nose because that's where matte foundations kind of crack. Because it gets so dry, and then a little bit on my forehead and chin and then like upper lip area. So you just rub that in. And then the forehead. Oh, my allergies. So my eyes look extra red, you guys. It's my allergies. Okay guys, so for your primer, you want to make sure you get something hydrating, especially if you have really dry skin and you're gonna try to wear a matte foundation. You always want to moisturize and then use your hydrating primer. So for that, I like to use the NYX Hydra Touch. This one is really good. So this is a really good drugstore alternative to the Smashbox hydrating primer. I did just buy this and I've tried it a couple times already, and I do love it. I do find that my foundation doesn't crack on me, and it doesn't just dry me out, because matte foundations do dry me out. I'm the kind of person that as soon as I'm out the shower, I have to put on some moisturizer. So I'm going to go in with this one today just because I'm basically done with this one and I kind of want to use this. But they're both really good. This one is really good. So I just squeeze a little bit on my fingertips. Okay, so when I want a matte foundation, my favorite one is the Maybelline Superstay. Can I talk? My favorite one is Maybelline Superstay, and I am in the shade 220, which is natural beige, and I think I'm almost done with this foundation, but I really love this color. I think it looks so pretty. So it's also really full coverage. I've heard it's very comparable to like Huda Beauty. So if you are in the market for a good drugstore foundation, Superstay. And mine is really nasty, like literally disgusting already. And I use about 3 pumps. Oh. And my favorite tool for my foundation is my Real Technique sponge. So yeah, you guys, when you're working with matte products, it's very important to have your base really hydrated. If you hear noise in the background, I'm sorry. They're doing like a new build on my street, and there's like dinosaur machines outside of my house. Like, they are huge. But yeah. So, you ready? So the two concealers are Tarte Shape Tape and the Born This Way concealer. This is the new one. I know they have an older one. I have never tried that one, but this is the newer one. And these two both are really good but for different reasons. So I like the Tarte Shape Tape when I want like a really matte look and I want like super full coverage, like just that full glam look. I love the Shape Tape. And I love the Born This Way when I want a more natural, like luminous, dewy look. This one works really good. So it could also work if you have very dry under eye. If you have a very dry under eye area, this would be really good for you. For me right now, my under eye area is not so dry. Like I said, it gets really dry, particularly around like November, December, and January. That's when my under eyes get really dry, but right now they're not, so I am going to stick to my Shape Tape just because I love the coverage on this one. This one is full coverage, however, I do go in with about 2 layers of this one, and this one typically I don't have to layer it, so yeah. And I use the shade Medium. Okay. So I put it under my eye and then a little bit under my nose because I do get redness. So now I'm going to blend it in with my Real Technique sponge. Okay, so for my under eye, I'm going to go back to an oldie but a goodie. I used to swear by this powder. I still do. I just have so many powders that I start to use different ones. So yeah, but this one is so amazing, and it is my Too Faced Born This Way loose setting powder. So usually before I set my under eye with powder, I go over the under eye area with the sponge just to blend out any creases. You want to make sure that your under eye area is not creased before you powder, because then you're going to set those creases and then you're going to have like a buildup of concealer under your eye where those creases are, and that's never a good look. So blend it out. And then while you're looking down, because my mirror is right here, I'm looking down into my mirror, kind of like looking at myself, and then I just go ahead and dip into my powder without looking down and then set the under eye. Because if you look down, the creases will form again, and like I said, you don't want to set the creasing. This is my favorite part of my foundation routine, is pushing the product, but the powder into my under eye. And then I like to grab more, and now that it's set, now you can look straight again, and then I like to push it into my cheek area and my smile lines, just because Biz hit 21 and all of a sudden she had smile lines, so you want to make sure to set those that they won't crease. And then you can always bring a little bit extra powder. Some people love to bake. I personally cannot bake too long because then my under eye looks really dry, and that's what I don't want. But I still want the matte look, so I push the powder in. And then typically around my forehead, I like to go in with a small brush just because I already did my eyebrows and I don't want any product to fall on them. So this brush, it's from BH Cosmetics. I've had it for years. It's just a really fat, fluffy brush. I think it's for highlighting, but I love it to set my eyelid and small areas. So I'm going to go right above my eyebrow. I don't know why, but right here, I always get a little bit oily. So I like to make sure that I specifically set this area here. And then I do have my little 11, which is like the frown lines. I stay making this face at everyone. I'm surprised that's not my permanent like facial expression. But I already have a little 11 and I don't like it. So I want to set that hoe. Set that hoe and forget that hoe. Okay, now if you're going to do eyeshadow, I always recommend you to do your eyeshadow before your foundation. If you know you're going to do a very natural look, you're going to have minimal fallout, or the colors are going to be light enough to where you can get away with dusting them off, do it. But if you're going to do dramatic eye looks, always do your eye looks first. So since today I'm going to do a very, very minimal eye look, and this video is not really about like an eyeshadow tutorial, I'm going to blend out my creasing on my eyelids. Please, please, please blend out the creases. I've seen so many people and their makeup looks so pretty, but as soon as they look down, they have all the creasing and the concealer, and that is because they don't set it. So you always want to set it. So just buff out the concealer, make sure it's really smooth. Again, you don't want to set any creasing. And then you want to go back in with your small little brush like this, dip it in your powder, and you want to lightly set your eyelid. I personally, in the winter, my eyelids get very dry and I don't like to put too much powder on them. So this is a step I would skip if your eyelids are super duper dry. If they're not, you can just, I mean, if they are really dry, you could do a really, really light layer. So I'm just putting a little bit. And plus, I don't like too much powder anyway. Eye. And then in between the eyebrows too, because that always gets a little bit oily. And yeah. And so for my face powder, one of my favorite face powders is the LA Girl Pro Face. I just had to buy myself a new one because I go through these really quickly. I actually have these in my makeup kit because I really do love them, and the price is really affordable because if you get your makeup done with me, you know that I don't like to charge a lot, but it's also kind of hard to charge a little bit and use really high-end products. So I use a mix. But even on myself, I use a lot of drugstore, and then I have like select products that are high-end that I absolutely cannot live without, and vice versa. There's a lot of drugstore products that I cannot live without, and LA Girl Pro Face Powder is one of those products for me. And I use the shade Soft Honey. I don't know if I told you guys my shades and the concealers, but in the Too Faced Born This Way, I'm natural beige, and then I'm medium in Shape Tape. So to set my foundation, because you do want it to, even though it is matte, you do still want to set it just because you want it to last longer. And this foundation doesn't dry down completely, so if you touch it, it's still a little bit tacky. So you definitely do want to go in with some powder. This powder is a little bit too warm for me, but I don't mind it because I do find that foundations usually wash me out, especially when they are my exact skin color. I always feel like I look too light or too pale, so I go in with a slightly warmer powder just to bring back a little bit of color into my face. And then your powder, you could either like push it in or you can like swirl it in. I do both, so it doesn't really matter. And for this, I'm using a Y8 brush from Morphe. Okay. I'm just going to use, again, my Morphe Y8 brush with my Chocolate Soleil bronzer from Too Faced. This is the old packaging. They do have new packaging, but I feel like, for what? So I'm going to go back in with my Morphe Y8 brush, and I'm going to begin to contour and chisel my cheeks. So for blush, I'm just going to go into one of my favorites, the Essence Satin Blush, and this is the shade Satin Love. And I love this one because it's not too pink and not too peachy. It's very neutral. And I'm going to, again, apply this on the apples of my cheeks. See? That's what I'm talking about. So I still feel like I'm a little bit pale, so I'm going to go in with another shade of the Pro Face Powder, and this is the shade Warm Caramel. This is my absolute favorite bronzer when I want to look very warm. Something about it, it just looks so pretty. Like, as you can see, I already hit pan. I do love this one. And for this, I'm going to use this really fluffy powder brush from BH Cosmetics. It's from their Pink Set collection, and I think this is number 1. And I'm just going to use this because it's so big, and I'm just going to bronze up my face because I do feel a little bit pale right now. So for my, I forgot what I was saying. I feel really sick, you guys. Okay, so for my highlighter, I'm gonna use ColourPop Super Shock Cheek in the shade Wisp. And for this, I'm gonna use a Luxie Tapered Highlighter brush, and it looks like this. And I'm just gonna swirl it in, kind of like swirl it in here, and then I'm going to tap it on the top of my cheekbones. Let me see. I'm also starting off little by little because I don't want to put too much. I just want to lay this product down. And then you guys know me, I'm a little extra with my highlighter, so I'm going to go in with another one. I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Master Chrome Molten Gold highlighter. This one just adds like a literal molten look. And then sometimes I get a little carried away, so again you go back in with your clean brush and diffuse the edges. Okay guys, so that is it. That is the completed look. I just went ahead and finished my eyes. I just did something really soft. Really, I only used like 2 colors on my eyes, a wing and my favorite Cocoa lashes in the style NYC. If you know me, you know those are dear to my heart. And then what else did I do? I just went ahead and I put on some liquid lipstick. I'm using Ofra, the shade Verona, and this is their matte liquid lip, and I really like this color. I don't typically like the pinky mauvey colors, but this one does look really pretty. So yeah, you guys, I really hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I really hope you guys learned a couple tips and tricks, especially for my dry skin girls out there. I got you. I have super dry skin, especially in the winter, and winter is coming, fall and winter, so I'm going to be doing a lot more smoky tutorials, and I can't wait. So you guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.